Welcome again to Mystic Revolution. Today, we're going to talk about integrity.
This is Mystic Revolution with Susana and Wendy. We are in season 2, and this is mastering our energy.
Last week, we talked about owning your power and will. And so, how do we stay in integrity in that? It's going to be a great conversation with my good friend Wendy. But before we get there, let's do a little meditation. All right. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice, big, deep breath in and exhale out. And let yourself tune into the rejuvenative energy of that breath, breathing in pure, refreshing oxygen and just exhaling anything that is not serving you. Any of the extra energy, extra noise of the day, just let it go. And let's go ahead and drop into our center, kind of tuned into our power center, our third chakra, solar plexus, last time. So let's revisit it and see if you can envision, imagine, tune into the idea of a beautiful ball of light right in your core. And maybe it looks like the sun. In fact, see if you can match the idea of sun energy in your own body. And then out of that illuminated core, you just let it expand a little bit. Out of that illuminated core, go ahead and put down a grounding cord, a tether, a pillar, a line from that ball of energy down through your body, down through your second and third chakra, down through your seat, down through the layers of the earth and connecting with the heart of the earth. And this isn't a brain working kind of thing. Just allow the connection to happen. Allow your body to tune into the frequency of the earth. If you're sitting in a chair, let your feet tune into the energy of the earth. And just allow the power of you, the grounded power of you, to open. And let's take another nice deep breath in and exhale out. Now that we've got that sort of opening and grounding, Wendy is going to talk a little bit more about owning your power, but doing it in integrity. And what does integrity mean? What does spiritual integrity mean? What does personal integrity mean? Please dive in, Wendy.
I'm still in my meditation. I'm just
I'm
la,
sorry.
la, la. No, it's good. So I just want to back up and say what happened was that I was teaching this for a long time and working with people on this for a long time. And I found that, everything we've talked about so far, amusement, neutrality, certainty, what we did last time of free will and empowerment, and then what we'll talk about next time, having sovereignty, what we say goes in our own space. These are incredible. These are amazing. These are life-changing. And though it frees us up, empowers us for something, from my perspective, it's not just for no reason. Like for me, it's about freeing us up and empowering us for our um, our you could say our dance in divine truth,
Okay. Yeah.
our alignment and dance with the divine. And so that's why I started bringing in this integrity conversation and practice, because if we're going to get all free and empowered and self-expressed and all that, and I believe it needs to it helps to remind ourselves to align with source, because otherwise things can go funny.
Yeah. Things can go funny, and our our energy can come out wonky. We can be imposing or forcing or putting effort where it's not necessary, or
Hmm.
speaking from places that may not really be our truth. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So we can get off track. And
yeah,
so, um, aligning with our divine truth, dancing with divine truth, that's what I'm talking about with integrity. And I have a
yeah,
few different things we'll pull out on that.
yeah,
Um, so, from my perspective, the most important thing is validation. And that's so all encompassing in this conversation that we're always having. Um, I see validation is when the divine truth, the sacred truth comes in, or comes out, blossoms from within me, it comes out from outside of me. It When I am experiencing it, that's validation.
yes,
So it's validation is being with what is, owning and integrating the truth. Um, it's the larger context of spiritual reality. Can I be with that as well as like what's right in front of me?
right,
Um, it's all the things. Can I be with what is?
yes. Can you be with what is as it is? Um, and we're talking about the 7 keys of mastery from within, and so the things that we've already talked about, like discernment and neutrality, and all of those things come into play in this experience and this
Yes,
validation. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And so it's not always good news. Like what we do as readers and healers is we're showing up and saying what's our perspective of true. It's not always good news, but I find that when I'm doing it from a place of service, it always ends up landing. I mean, always lands, almost always, because hearing the truth is a gift when we want it, when we're ready. He, so it might seem like bad news, but it's not. It's good news. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is true for me. Thank you. That has been happening. That's usually what happens. Go ahead.
Oh, no, well, and I think along with that, if you're practicing discernment, neutrality, certainty, you have an awareness, you know, I in your spiritual integrity, you have an awareness of the truth and what is ready to be tended to
Yeah.
and what is not, and even, right, how it should be worded in a way that is relatable and lands, right?
Hmm.
That's that sort of deeper attunement that comes when you are in spiritual integrity in your work.
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
Yeah. What I like to do with training psychics is as soon as psychics can start to see, oh, there's a cat, there's a hammer, as soon as there's perception, the question becomes not what do you see, but what is a healing to say?
exactly. What is a healing to say? I think that is so important, and I think it can be. I'm not gonna say it's common, but I have experienced and witnessed people reading who are just like, I see this, blah, 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 without the speaking a truth, right? But without in the envelope of healing, without the
Mhm.
envelope of spiritual integrity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so there's that reading part, and sometimes it sound, you know, like Michael's like in my everyday life, Michael's like, you get away with saying the most amazing things, you know, like I would never say that, but it's the way I say it, it's how I say it. It's like there's a listening, there's a readiness. I don't just
Yeah.
go around saying things that are hurtful.
Yeah.
The point is, okay, right here, right now, this is helpful. Ding.
Hmm.
So anyway, with validation, it almost the whole idea is to say, it's okay, you're okay, I'm
Yeah.
okay, it's all is well, all manner of things shall be well. So it's so healing, it's so helpful because mostly in our society there's a whole lot of invalidation. There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that is not the spiritual truth, saying that I suck, there's something wrong with me, I'm broken, I'm not worthy. Um, Nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I gotta eat worms. Like it's just there's incessant invalidation,
Yeah.
and it's basically the human condition. Um, and I say that just because I haven't ever read anyone without invalidation.
Yes.
Um, and so invalidation is the lies. It's the anti-truth that is carried in our society and the people, and that can continue to drain out and validation come in, and it changes the world. It changes our world. It changes the world.
It changes everything. It changes our operating system or the gas that fuels us, right? And it can be hard to break through those invalidations because many people hold them as truths or have held them
Yes.
as absolute truths. And so when you have an awareness of that in yourself or someone that you're working with, where do you go? I know that's a very open question, but how do you bring in validation into that? Yeah, bring in, not bring in
Energy of
validation,
validation.
bring
I know,
in
I'm always playing with that.
validation.
Um, like we keep talking about, I like to start with the energy. I like to start with the blessing. Can I
Mhm.
start to allow the flow of from heaven, from earth, from within our own soul, the true to
Yeah,
flow?
yeah,
And that naturally starts to move the energy. And then from there, the soul patterns and the thought patterns and the emotion pattern, like all they get more freed up
yeah,
just with the energy. And we also have some stuff around that helps us break the patterns um, that are just how it is.
yeah, just how it is.
Um, and my favorite healing tool, and it helps this and almost everything else, is present time. You know,
Right.
besides the grounding and the centering, all is present time because in present time, not so bad. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's it's so important because in this moment, everything is okay. In this moment, everything's okay, right? Everything is okay in this moment and in this moment and in this moment. And if you can then in stringing the moments together, then that helps um it helps break apart these invalidation systems that we have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And a lot of it, like a lot of our built world, it's just how it is, and we don't even see forest for the trees.
Yeah.
And so just beginning to talk about it, just saying what it looks like, you know, that everything I do is wrong, everything I say is wrong, everything, I can never look right, I can never talk right. Like, it's like, oh boy, like most of us can relate to these in some way.
Right. And I'm just gonna say our media and all of that doesn't help the situation. I mean,
Right.
it's sort of well known that, you know, commercials are meant to sort of make you feel terrible about how you
Yeah.
look, so you'll buy
You
the
smell, buy
thing,
our product.
right?
You're ugly, buy our product.
Right?
If you want to get a date, buy our product.
Right, all of it. And we can laugh about it, but hearing those messages over and over and over again, like, fuels those embedded systems of invalidation, and then we come disempowered, and yeah, it
Yeah,
sucks.
it sucks. And I don't know, I'm really dating myself. Maybe no one's ever seen this movie, but there was this movie that I loved back in the day called The Breakfast Club.
Oh, people have
And
heard of that.
yeah, yeah.
That's
And
not that
not
that's
that old.
that's old, but it's
Oh.
not that old.
And there's this wonderful scene where the big guy, he's acting out what happens at home, and
Mhm,
he's, you know, his father's a bully, and
mhm,
his father is, he's just like, you're lazy, you're sloppy, you're good for nothing, you know. That's in, like, it's classic. It was just like, I mean, I look back, I'm like, that's invalidation in action.
yeah,
And it does get beat into us one way or another.
yeah,
And it just becomes the world we live in, and it doesn't have to be. It really
no,
can get totally deconstructed.
absolutely.
It takes a minute.
Yeah,
So
it takes a minute. Well, minute is reminds me of time, and it reminds me that it's time for a break.
Thank you, We Are Historically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Hey everyone, just a friendly reminder that on the first Tuesday of every month, we hold a Mystic Revolution meditation, and you're invited. Just go to our website and you'll find the link. We look forward to seeing you then.
Raise your vibration and energize your life with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks that deepen meditations and empower self-healing. Get your vibrational sound tools for personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Welcome, everyone. We're back talking about integrity, more specifically about the concepts of validation and invalidation. And I will open the floor to Wendy.
so we were talking about being in alignment with the sacred truth, or dancing with the divine,
Yes.
in aligning with that truth, instead of, you know, the lies of the commercials and the lies of our families and the lies of etc. And I just want to say another, I just love this paradigm. um, Christianity has this beautiful picture of the devil picture, the Satan picture,
Mm-hmm.
is the father of lies and the accuser of the brethren, the accuser of the brethren, and that is invalidation.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the anti-God, it's the anti-truth. I just want to say that it might help some people. So now we're talking, okay, so can we align with our truth? Can we align with love, beauty, etc.? Can we live in congruence with the higher truth, not the low, you know, not the truths that lead us astray, the lies? And so can we be in congruence, and can our whole system and all of our inner and our behavior start to be in coherence with that? Can we start to have some oh wait, like, I say I'm for this, but I'm doing that. Let me start to deal with that. Like, where am I not congruent? Where am I not in coherence?
Yeah.
It's a really interesting conversation and process. Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm just going back to your picture of Satan and the father of lies, and this idea, I mean, so often we demonize ourselves so much for things that we do.
Yes.
I mean, some people berate themselves for sinning, but you don't have to be in a Christian or in any organized religion to berate yourself or demonize others
Right.
for what you perceive to be out of integrity.
Yeah.
And I think what you're this being in congruency is the idea that we have the power, to move. There isn't something that's like defined us as this horrific thing or this horrible being or whatever. It's we can we if we can allow ourselves to just sort of let that go for a moment and realize we have the power to move. We have the power to find that harmony um, within ourselves and the world without these judgments, without these labels, and um, um, it's this duality thing. Like it's either you're right or you're wrong, right? You're either
Mhm.
with us or you're against us, or you're either of God or you're of Satan, and it's like no. No, all of it is, and we get to, right? We get to find the power of our own truth in all of that.
Yeah. And like what that whole dichotomy thing, it's so metally. It's so uncomfortable. And it's all conceptual.
It's
That's just
conceptual.
concepts.
Yeah.
Like what we're talking about is none of these concepts. Oh, none. You have to do this and you can't do this. And if you do this, you're going to hell or what. We're not talking about any of that. None
No.
of that. What we're just to be clear, we're talking about where when we line up with love, how awesome it
Yeah.
is. When we line up with beauty, how delicious it is. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
That's a whole different thing than, don't do
Use
this and
diagram. Yeah.
got to do that. It's, oh my goodness, this is a sweet spot where there's it's like the cat sitting in the warm spot from the sunlight.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's
And
delicious.
and it's available no matter who you are, where you are.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm sounding like a little bit like, I mean, I don't want to sound like anybody attached to any sort of religion because I'm so not about that at all, right? We're free
I know.
will, we're integrity, come as you are, be as you are, all of it. And everyone has access to uh, power from within.
Yes.
Everyone has the ability to access power from within. Everybody has the ability to tune into their soul senses. Um,
Yeah. And I'm talking all of this integrity stuff and all this sacred truth crap. I'm talking
mhm.
about it because it makes our life work.
Yeah,
I'm talking it because, in this way, I get more healthy, feel younger, can contribute more, have the energy to grab life by the neck,
yeah.
in a way that I couldn't.
You were going to say horns. Yes.
I was trying to not say other things. Like it's because it's awesome. Like integrity isn't a stick to beat ourselves with. It's, oh my goodness, it's the sweet spot.
It's the sweet spot. And I think that's so important because I'm going to just sort of bring up another sort of faction of integrity. Sometimes, you're not being in integrity. right? That's sort of used as a weapon or a way to demonize people. They aren't
Yes.
being in integrity. They aren't being honest, or, well, I have to say everything, or I'm not being honest, and that's not in integrity. And
Ow.
yeah, but you know what I mean, right? And
Oh, yeah.
and being in integrity and being and practicing these 5 keys to mastery, and doing that, you understand that uh, integrity doesn't mean that um because someone isn't in alignment with what you want, they are out of integrity, or if someone isn't matching your integrity, that they aren't in integrity.
Yes.
It also doesn't necessarily give you a right to call out other people on anything.
Right.
Um, and if you are a reader healer type, or you are tuned into your soul senses, if you are practicing these 7 keys, and you're in integrity, you will know. In fact, you will know, you'll have that nuanced ability to see and sense, what needs to be said.
Yeah.
To your point about how, you know, you can say you've learned how to say difficult things in a way that is like, people are often like, "Oh, thank you." Like,
Yeah.
because you see how people need to hear things, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so I just wanted to call that out, as there's a I guess that goes back to what you were saying about, we were talking about immature free will, and there's sort of, I guess, maybe immature understandings of integrity.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
is that what
All
you would
this is
call it?
about us, not about you. All this is about me, not about you.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
this is about my walk, not your walk.
Yeah.
Eyes on our own page.
Eyes on our own page. Absolutely. That's a great thing to think about when you want to be in integrity.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I do want to say, along with, the caveats, I want to say it's not about judgment.
Mm-mm.
It's not about, we call it perfect pictures, trying to be, some version of ideal.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful flower opening to the sun, in our own soul. It's such a blessing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
your beautiful flower and your own soul doesn't look over at me and go, "What the heck is she doing over there?"
Right? Yeah, I mean, I did a thing, about some of this recently, and it's just not about competition. It's not about, like, I posted a meme about this, like the flower, grows to the sun. It doesn't care what you're doing, right? This flower
Yeah.
goes to the sun. This flower goes to the sun. This flower is not being like, oh, you suck. That's not what's
Right.
happening.
Right. And yet, right, when you have a bunch of flowers growing together, right, a bunch of bees are more likely to show up. I mean, the fact that all the flowers are doing their thing together means they all, get to play in the sun together, or have more bees
Yeah.
come. I mean, whatever. I mean, this sounds a little bit cheesy, but I mean, it's a you understand what I'm saying, and what
Yeah.
we're saying. And I just always think that if we had learned some of these concepts when we were kids, um, and sort of grown up with some of these practices and these ideas, that maybe we'd have a little less hurt and trauma and confusion going on right now.
And you asked in the beginning about, how do I deal with someone with, when validation is an issue, and
Yeah.
um, this whole thing about, can I be supported by the earth and open to my own sun and let them open to their own sun? The famous two rose healing method. Like,
Right.
it's like it changes us, it changes relationships, it shifts everything when I get my eyes off of them onto my own path. It really does. It's extraordinary how things can change.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susana.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so I guess we are at the end of this episode. But before we leave, let's do a little meditation out. So let's go ahead and close our eyes and then tune into that inner sun in you that we set in place before we started. And there it is. And you can allow it to get bigger and bigger. And you can feel your connection to the earth. And you can feel your connection to the divine. In fact, to help with this, just tune into the idea of the sun above you, a beautiful pillar of energy just dropping through the top of your head, all the way down through your body, into your core, into your own inner sun, and all the way down to the heart of the earth. And let yourself just sit in that connection, your own power, held in alignment, held in integrity by the earth and by the sky. And let yourself take a nice deep breath into that and exhale out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You look like the sun. Yay! All right, we'll see you next time, everyone.
And that concludes this portion of Mystic Revolution. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to get notified of new content. And don't forget to like and share. Join the Mystic Revolution. Click on the link in the description to get more information or visit themysticrevolution.com. Another creative art production by Retro Earth Studio.
We covered topics like the importance of inner strength and a sense of sovereignty, and how that comes when you choose a mystic path.